Hey everybody, thank you for tuning into my channel. We are reading Adversity for Sale, You Gotta Believe by Jeezy, Jeezy Jenkins. Anyway, thank you for tuning in, and I'm going to be reading at chapter 3, part 3, and that's called, the title is called Let's Get It. Hit the kitchen lights. Yeah, no. Okay. So, chapter 3, Let's Get It. I've never been scared of hard work. If the money's out there, the only thing that's stopping me from getting it is putting in the work. You might as well go on and pay me now because I assure you that work will get done. We can't change where we're from, who our families are, or what kind of resources we have at the start, but we can control how hard we work. There's always more we can do to reach that extra gear, another hour to put in, more research to do, or another take to try to get it right. I'm not saying the gospel of hard work is the be all and end all of success, but it's a cornerstone of it. That's for damn sure. We all have choices to make when it comes to how we use our time and how we go about pursuing our dreams. We can talk about it or we can be about it. That's not to say all your dreams will come true if you simply put in the work. They may or they may not, but I guarantee you, if you don't put in the work, that's all that it'll ever be, dreams. When I was 13, I went to work for my uncle throwing watermelons. He wasn't one of my blood uncles, more of a family friend, but you know how that goes in the hood. He had a roadside watermelon stand, and every day he'd swing by my grandmother's and scoop me up at the crack of dawn. And then we'd ride out to his fields, and I'd spend the whole morning throwing watermelons, loading up his truck with the rest of his crew. Then we'd ride back to town and spend the rest of the day hustling watermelons by the side of the road. It paid about $50 a week, which was good money for me at the time. And at the end of the week, I'd take all the money I made and get him to change it all. Get blah blah. I'll take all the money I made and get him to change it all out so I could have 20, two fives, and 21s. Then I put the $20 bill on top and folded it into a little bankroll. Walking around the hood with that little knot in my pocket, I thought I was so fresh. And I also like knowing that I'd earned my money the right way. Throwing watermelons wasn't some shit I pulled just to get some quick bread. It was slow, hard work that I could feel all in my back, arms, and legs. And I knew I was getting stronger physically, mentally, and financially just by showing up and doing the work. For the first time in my life, I felt like I was making real steady progress towards my goals. I felt like I was growing up. Still, $50 a week is just $50 a week, no matter how you fold your bills. And I knew throwing watermelons was only going to get me so far. I was going to have to find something else if I ever wanted to get where I was trying to go. After spending the summer throwing watermelons, I spent that I spent that fall working on roofs. Well, sort of. Another one of my neighborhood uncles had a roofing company, and I was a little kid running around the job site with a wheelbarrow doing all the things that nobody else wanted to do. Clean up this, move that, and all that. Throwing watermelons was hard work, but working for the roofing company was more of a job. Everybody had their own responsibilities, and my uncle was like a drill sergeant keeping everybody in line. He was a hard ass, and I didn't like the way he talked to me sometimes because he was always talking shit. But he was the first real boss I'd ever been around, and I admire how he ran his crew. If we had 10 days to finish a job, we were done in 9 and on to the next. I never saw him arguing with the client or having any kind of issues when it came to things like that. His people were organized, efficient, and effective. He rode us like a motherfucker by the end of the day. He got the job done, he paid his employees on time, and he had a successful business that he owned. I made $20 a day working for him, And every time I watched him count everybody out from a big stack of cash at the end of the week and put that 100 in my hand, I think when I grow up, I want to be like that. In the Ville, working a factory job was the big thing. It's consistent work with good benefits and decent pay. So you're winning if you got one of those. Coming up, I knew a bunch of people who worked at the factory job their whole lives, and there was nothing to be ashamed of either, because the most for the most part, everybody I knew who didn't have a factory job was bottom of the barrel broke. I'm talking broke, broke. Just to put some numbers on it, according to the 1990 U.S. Census, when I was 13, over half of the black population in the Ville was living below poverty line with a median household income of less than 13,000 a year. According to the same census, a third of Hawkinsville's black population didn't even have a phone. I knew a couple of people whose parents had decent jobs, but they were few and far between. From what I could tell, it seemed like everybody else just hung out at the liquor store all day and collected a government check. And absolutely none of that appealed to me. I wasn't interested in working for somebody else or collecting a government check or doing just enough to get by. I wanted to be my own boss, build businesses, make deals, and get into situations where I could make money in my sleep. Most of all, I wanted to be free. Over the years, I've gotten to know a lot of people who are perfectly happy living their all American middle class family life. My dad's brother Hoss and his family are like that. And they're honestly some of the happiest people I've ever known. But my ambition was always to be greater than that. And realizing my vision meant I needed more. Real talk and no bullshit, even at a young age. I saw myself running an empire. As the days got shorter and the months dragged on, my pockets dried up. When it came to getting money, the winter of 1991-92 was the first time I'd experienced a drought. I remember sitting in class at Pulaski Middle School, watching the minutes tick off the clock and feeling like I was wasting so much time. After spending the summer at my grandmother's house, I was back to staying with my mom and my sister in a two-bedroom trailer that my mom was leasing to own on the outskirts of town. That thing was so small, there was barely any room to think. I swear you could stand in the middle of it and reach out and just about touch the walls. My mom was really growing through it. My dad was off seeing the world on the military dime, and she was back in the hood with three mouths to feed. She'd gotten a job as a housekeeper on the other side of town, but it didn't really pay for shit, and every day she'd come home exhausted and mad. I didn't know the details of whatever was going on between her and my dad. All I knew was that he was gone and we were broke. And when my mom would get to drinking, it felt like she'd try to take all of her anger out on me. She called me all types of names and tell me I wasn't good for shit. The truth is, I've been hearing it all my life. One of my aunts even used to call me Jerry's kids because she thought I was slow. And she wasn't the only one. It seemed like everybody was always telling me I wouldn't amount to shit. That's one of the reasons I've been so proud to have those jobs. I get paid and come home and show my mom the cash, like, look what I made. I knew it wasn't much in the scheme of things, but in that town, a couple of $100 was a lot, especially for a kid. And being able to point to the cash in hand was almost like a way of showing the whole world my worth, including myself. Looking back, I can appreciate my mom's tough love because it helped make me strong. But whenever things would get real bad between us, I go back to my grandmother's house to escape. That was the only place I'd ever felt unconditional love. It didn't matter what kind of trouble I got into, how bad I was doing in school, and how much money I had in my pocket, or whatever else was going on in my life, good, bad, or ugly. Miss Maddie Pickett was there, and her house always felt like home. Oh, that's messed up. His mama treated him like that. It's a lot of young men that say that their mothers talk crazy to them. And I feel so bad for me and it have to had to experience that. And some mothers, like that boxer that had fought not too long ago, his mama talked real crazy because she had did a interview or whatever. Well, both of them did the interview, and he was just saying, how his mama talked real bad to him, and I'm just like, how do parents do that? I mean, but there it's a mental thing with your parents too, and it's just a blessing when you get older and you're able to get past that and forgive your mom and look back and see that your mom was only maybe she didn't get the love when she was little and stuff like that. But anyway, back to the book. But yeah, they just surprised me that his mama talked crazy to him like that. But Miss Maddie Pickett was there. Her house always felt like home. His grandmother. One of those nights when I was over there trying to get some space from my mom and maybe a little something to eat, I was sitting in the kitchen and feeling about as worthless as a wooden frying pan when my Uncle Bo Slick walked in. That ain't the end of the chicken, is it? He said. I told him there was a couple of pieces left. Good, he said, sitting down. So I won't have to fight you for it then. Save you the embarrassment. Bo Slick was one of my dad's brothers, and he was the funniest motherfucker. He always had jokes. Matter of fact, he's the one who gave my second cousin the nickname Goldmouth. His real name was Dewan, but he had this one gold tooth with his initials on it, a D. And every time he come around, my Uncle Bo Slick would be like, "Oh shit, here comes old Goldmouth," and it stuck. Bo Slick had been on disability ever since some guys caught him coming down the path to my grandmother's house late one night and beat him damn near half to death trying to rob him. He walked with a cane and a big old arch in his back, and he spent most of his time drinking, cracking jokes, and talking shit. What's the hell matter with you? Sitting here looking like a wet cat, he said, looking me over. When I didn't say anything, he was like, "Man, you might be too sad to eat that hot chicken. How about I have that and you get to whatever you get whatever's left in the fridge, the microwave thing." But I didn't move. Goddamn, little Jay, what is it? I started to say something like, "Man, but I broke off." We sat there in silence for a minute. Then he was like, "Shit, if you don't start talking, I'ma start eating. So which is it?" He made like he was about to grab his cane. Fucking Bo Slick, man, always talking shit. I can't front though. That night at work, while we sat there eating in my grandmother's kitchen, I opened up and told him about everything that was going on with me. How my mom was on my ass, how my dad had left us in the trailer to go off to wherever he was, how every day at school I felt like I was wasting my time, how I had bigger dreams than just getting a factory job, and how I felt like instead of getting closer to realizing those dreams, I was going in reverse. Well, I know life ain't no motherfucking cakewalk, he said when I was done tapping the top of his cane. But I'll do anything for you that I can. Appreciate that, Yeah, well, he said, trailing off. What do you think is the worst part of it all? I thought about it for a sec. To be honest, at the exact moment, everything felt bad. But if I had to boil it down to one thing, I guess it's that I don't have any money, I told him. Bo Slick looked at me. I can't imagine what he thought. Me, 14 years old, sitting in my grandmother's kitchen stressing. Well, I don't have much, but if you think it'll help, I can give you this, he said. He pulled a crumbled up $20 bill out his pocket and set it on the table between us. I was like, "Oh man, I knew what 20 meant in that house. Shit, I knew what 20 meant in that whole town." "Well, you want it or not? Because if you don't, I'll just." He made like he was about to take it back. "No, no, I'll take it." I reached for the bill. "It's just, are you sure?" "Yeah, shit, it's just money," he said. If you think you can do something with it that'll help you get out of whatever mood this is, take it. It's yours. I'll get some more. I'll get some more. I'll get some more some kind of way. He stood up to clear his plate. I picked the 20 off the table and smoothed it out. I couldn't believe he'd give me the last 20 from his disability check just like that. You sure? I asked him again. He was like, boy, I'm going to start charging you 20 every time you ask me a stupid question. So you better not ask again. When he was gone, I looked at the wrinkled ass $20 bill in my hand. This is what I'm worth right now, I thought. Then I started thinking about all the things I could do with it. I can't front. The first thing that came to mind was junk food. Like maybe I'll go down to the corner store and get some chips or soda and some little hosty cakes. All those things like that felt like luxuries to me. Then I thought maybe I'll hold out for now and take this 20 and put it towards something bigger, like some new clothes or a pair of new um, Andre Agassi's and get back to my best dress ways. Or maybe I could do something else with it, something productive, something I've never done before. Maybe I could take that 20 and put it to work and slowly but surely start building my empire. Sitting at the kitchen table looking at that bill and that tiny ass house in that little ass town in the middle of South Georgia, surrounded by a whole lot of nothing, I told myself, you know what? I'm going to take this 20 and I'm never going to ask anyone for any handouts ever. All right, I'm going to pause, y'all. I'll be back.